RJ has been shooting 30% on three in his last 30 games. I, I think the issue with RJ isn't 100% with his offense. I think it's more so his defense and how he's been getting cooked lately. So the 3 point shot, the fact that he's knocking that down is definitely encouraging. He's been better at finishing, especially when he's been getting to the paint. But defensively, we really need him to step up. And hopefully, IQ plays solid defense. Grimes, even when his shots not falling, he's playing solid defense. And Hart, he plays solid defense. So with those three guys as options, if RJ doesn't step it up on that end of the court with those guys nipping at his heels, then I'm not sure what it's going to take for him to take that step forward defensively.
Yeah, and we talk about making the players around you better. You can't have an approximate 1-to-1 assist to turnover ratio like RJ has. And also, game after game, he's showing low IQ, making really bad passes. Like, you're like, what the hell were you thinking there? Or not seeing guys open. Like he's open, Obi's open, and then he's jumping all over like, Jesus, what do I have to do? I have to get a freaking pass here. So, RJ needs to work on so many other parts of his game. And like you were saying, I'm glad he came on in the fourth quarter, but that inconsistency in the season and within games, we were glad if he was consistent in the game, maybe he wouldn't have to come on in the fourth quarter, and hit clutch buckets. We need him to be consistent. And a big difference between RJ and Josh Hart is Josh Hart. There's centers in the league that don't finish 70% at the rim like Josh Hart does. And we see every game. Can we go a game where he doesn't get a shot, meaning RJ blocked twice in a game? He seems every game he gets a shot, and that's an IQ thing to me. And the last but not least is a couple games ago, he hits this gorgeous midi. Instead of taking that extra bounce, that extra dribble, get into the land of the Giants, he takes his pull-up jumper from the foul line, the midi, swish. And I'm like, yo, that's your key to, a great career. Look at DeRozan. Fuck the three, man. Hit that midi like that, and if the guy takes one step to you, then get to the hole, using that body. I want more N1s from him and stuff like that.
That's the thing. I like competition, man. It thrives and it pushes players to improve. Because if not, they're going to end up on the bench and potentially moved. You look at RJ Barrett, they bring in a guy like Josh Hart. If he's going to be here long term, I know that's not guaranteed, but they invested a first round pick and traded for him. You would assume they're going to look to extend him here in the offseason. I assume he's going to opt out and then sign a new deal with the Knicks or another team in free agency. And with him here now, I think it might make RJ Barrett a little bit more expendable. I forgot who showed me. I believe it was George. Sent me a text, showed me a stat of the team's plus minus with Brunson and Barrett on the court together, Brunson and Randall on the court together, and then Barrett and Randall on the court together. And the team is better when two of those three play as opposed to all three of them. So I believe RJ Barrett or Julius Randle at some point is going to be dealt in order to help make this team a championship contender. And if RJ Barrett continues to struggle, he may be that piece that gets moved in the offseason to bring in that top 10, top 15 player in order to make us legitimate championship contenders. So he's going to have to pick it up if he wants to stay and be a Knick long term.
Yeah, and another thing from a coach's development standpoint, maybe the first step is putting RJ in the second team where he can thrive. And, we talked about it last year with Fournier that, we're seeing RJ, it's not so much as a technique, is that he's physically challenged. When he can't stop a person at point of attack. He's too upright from a technique too upright in his technique, but they just blow past him. And, we know he's slow around screens, but screens are hard, but still, his speed. So maybe on defense, he won't be lit up so much on a second team, and he'll eat on offense. So maybe he could be a 6th man of the year. Not everybody's meant for that. You wish a number 3 pick is have a higher upside, but hey, 6 men. We saw Jordan Clarkson yesterday. They could be very, very valuable. But like you just said, Keith, maybe having 2 guys with styles like Julius and RJ at the same time on the court, it just doesn't jive. So if we could get him, or we'll see, hopefully he could pick it up in the end, rest of the season, and he could be a viable part of our foundation going forward. But if not, a lockdown 3 to have a at the 2, all of a sudden have Josh Hart at the 2, a lockdown 3, Randall and stuff like that. That makes it even a scarier team, man. At this point, they are over 9 points better when RJ's not on the court this year, the Knicks. That's an ugly statistic, man. You don't want to see that. I don't want to even talk about it, but the stats don't lie. Look at off court and Basketball Reference, folks. 9.6 points better when he's not on the court, RJ.
And also, I saw somebody in chat mention a potential deal where we could discuss trading RJ over to Brooklyn for Mikal Bridges. I mean, that's something I would entertain.
In a second.
Season, which you're seeing Mikal Bridges. I'm gonna be focused on what the Nets do post Durant and Kyrie trade, because I really want to see if Mikal Bridges can, blossom in a system where he's looked at as the guy. Because if that's the case, and he does show that he can step up and be, I don't know if he'll be top 20 or anything like that in the entire league, but you look at what he can give to you defensively. He can knock down the 3. You look at the size. I think he would fit on this team a little bit better than RJ Barrett. And there's already that connection between Brunson and Hart from their days in Villanova. So that's something I think that the Knicks should explore if RJ Barrett continues to struggle defensively, especially for the rest of the season.
Yeah, they brought Mikal Bridges here, and you have those 3 Villanova dogs together. Wow, that would really, really be something. So
look at me, I'm getting ahead of myself already. We traded for Cam, and we wanted the whole Blue Devil reunion, and now we want a Villanova reunion with Mikal.
Yeah, the difference is Villanova won national championships. Duke didn't.
Foxy throwing shade. I hear you.
Well, they play the game the way you want to play it, man. They're all business, and I love that. And also, folks, talking about, I said this to Keith and a couple of our friends off camera, that one of the players I'd really target in the offseason on the cheap, because when you think about Brunson under contract, RJ under contract, Julius under contract, Mitch under contract, and us having to sign Josh Hart this year, is Watanabe, the 6'8" wing.
Utah?
No, he was on Toronto. He's on the Nets now.
No, yeah, his first name is Utah.
I thought you said Utah from
no.
Utah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like him. He knocked down the 3.
And he's versatile on defense. He could cover ones and stuff like that. He has that Toronto heritage and legacy and stuff like that. He can nail the 3, so I think he'd be a great free agent acquisition. He may not be sexy, but if we can't get Mikal and stuff like that,
I thought they negotiated a longer term deal with him.
Did they?
No. No, yeah, 1 year, $2 million. Yeah, he's a
free agent at the end of this year.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, thank you. I try to be. So, if we can get him on the cheap, that'd be a nice pickup, man. A versatile, long wing like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's if he doesn't play his way out of our price point, because we should have the mid-level exception available, so we can probably use a portion of that to bring him in. But the way he's been balling and knocking down shots, I'm sure he'll have some suitors.
Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe $15 million a year, 3-year, $45 million or so for Josh Hart, for him to re-sign.
Sounds reasonable. That'd be about like a $3 million raise from what he's making now.
Correct. Right on the dot, my friend.